Bethesda's highly anticipated role-playing game Starfield has been delayed until 2023, but it looks like this may have been for a good reason. Starfield's composer Inon Zur recently revealed in a podcast how the game was huge and philosophical. In today's video, we'll share a brief glimpse of just how massive Bethesda's latest title may be and a lot more. So let's dive right in. First off, the composer seems really impressed with the game's size. Inon Zur, whose work you may have heard from games like Crusader Kings, Prince of Persia, Twisted Metal, and a number of other video game franchises, recently appeared on Nick Hill-Hogan's podcast. During the podcast, they touched on Zur's career and journey up until this point. And of course, Hogan couldn't help but ask a bit about Bethesda's upcoming RPG Starfield, which is also being composed by Inon. The composer was asked if there was anything about the game that he could reveal to listeners. Zur immediately discussed the sheer size of the video game. He was very impressed by the people of the world, its story, and the philosophical themes that players may encounter during their many playthroughs. Zur added that the game is also quite deep. He said the players would go through its various storylines and likely find that it consumes a lot of their being. He wasn't sure if playing it will change a person, but it will surely give them a different perspective. Sheesh. Those are some otherworldly claims for this outer space game, and we really can't wait to go through this apparently once-in-a-lifetime experience for ourselves when it launches. That said, for a game that's about killing pirates and giant cosmic serpents, it'll be interesting to see how these larger concepts about philosophy play into everything. But with how excited the composer for the game is, we can't help but share some of that eagerness. Next, the game will have twice as much music as other Bethesda games. Inon has worked on a number of other Bethesda titles in the past, including Fallout 76 and Fallout New Vegas, and so he definitely knows how much music is required for an RPG game of this sort. Zur states that in terms of music, the game is about twice as big as the biggest game Bethesda has released previously, so there's definitely going to be a lot to listen to while playing it. We're not sure if this indicates that the overall size of the game might be double that of previous Bethesda titles, but there's no doubt that it's certainly going to be huge. Music in open-world RPGs is usually used as a way to set the ambiance in the vast open stretches of land, and if there's double the amount of tracks, it's likely that we'll have double the land to explore. But again, there's been no concrete confirmation on the game's actual scale. Guess that's just going to be another thing we'll have to wait a bit to see for ourselves. Not to mention, Inon talked about how the shooter game incorporates its philosophical elements. As we stated a bit earlier, it looks tough to see a game about snatching spaceships and roaming outer space to be making larger philosophical points without it coming across as a bit heavy-handed. This is something that Zur talked about during the podcast. He adds that the experience of the RPG is a lot more than just yet another shooting game. It takes a very brave step into the world of philosophy, and this unique premise has the courage to ask questions while trying to answer them. This is, as the composer describes it, the very core of Starfield. He also states that it's not really about how the game looks or what its gameplay is like, though he thinks those elements are still incredible. What makes it all so good is the player's ability to write their own story within the existing narrative of Starfield. Adding to that, gamers will be able to ask questions and seek answers, with some of them even potentially getting answered. Zur has certainly kept things really vague, but for fans, it's enough to keep them busy with speculation for at least a couple of weeks. We're sure the composer isn't allowed to outright talk about elements from the game just yet, so his vague statements are understandable. But one thing is quite clear though, he's beyond passionate about Starfield, and seeing him speak so candidly about it is definitely getting us hyped too. Moving on, are there any other RPGs that delve in philosophy? Video games, especially role-playing ones, are fantastic tools for storytelling, and the best ones are able to offer some very interesting philosophical takes. The Dark Souls series is known for its nuanced way of showcasing its storyline to players. Players are able to learn about the story and history of the world through item descriptions, and the plot, which involves tales of gods and men from ages past, tells us a lot about their struggles of trying to stay in power in a world that is mostly destined for extinction. It really makes players wonder about our own lives and goals. The Dark Souls franchise's unique story and philosophy is a hit among many fans. The reason why these games are able to work as well as they do is because they're not too heavy-handed with their philosophical messages. A lot of times, Dark Souls players are able to go through the game without really having learned that much about the story, but there's a lot to dive into for those who are interested. We're not sure if Starfield will have a similar method of relaying its themes to players, but with the sheer scale of its world, it looks like we might get a bit of everything. And with that, let's move on to our next segment. In other news, up next, Elden Ring gets a new manga. If you played FromSoft's latest game, Elden Ring, you'll be pleased to know that it has recently got an official manga. The comic series focuses on characters from the game, but has a much lighter and comedic tone than you may remember. Fan favorite characters like Melina and Radahn have made an appearance in it, as well as the player character the Tarnish. It's definitely quite different from anything players of the game might expect to see from in FromSoft's usually dark universe, but that's what makes the comedic tone work even more. Gamers are already impressed with this great art style and absurdist style of humor, although some think that with art as good as this, something more serious and more in line with the tone of the game series might have actually been much better. We're not sure if this is an ongoing series or just a one-off thing, but fans would certainly love to see more of it. Plus, Hogwarts Legacy won't allow players to partake in Quidditch. If you are a Harry Potter fan who's always wondered what it would be like to play Quidditch in a high-quality modern video game, it looks like you'll have to keep wondering. Hogwarts Legacy's official FAQ recently confirmed that Quidditch won't be playable, at launch anyway. This seems like a huge missed opportunity, and fans have already begun sharing their disappointment with this decision. It feels especially weird because the Hogwarts Legacy features a fully functioning flight system with its magic brooms. Players will be able to soar through the skies and even upgrade their brooms with talent points and unique perks. It looks like the developers have already put in the groundwork for flying in the game, and so adding Quidditch doesn't seem like that big of a step. That said, the game already had to be delayed because the team was struggling to meet their previous deadline, and the feature might have just been cut because they won't be able to deliver it by launch. That's quite a shame though. Quidditch would do much to make the world feel that much more alive and similar to how we remember it from the film and novel series. Hopefully, with enough players wanting it in, we can get the features added later on as a DLC. Finally, Microsoft plans on adding Activision Blizzard games to Game Pass. Earlier this year, Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard for a whopping $68.7 billion, and now we're finally starting to see talks of the company's games getting added to Microsoft's subscription-based gaming service. Microsoft announced that they'll be adding Call of Duty along with Diablo, Overwatch, and other games to the Game Pass in the near future. While there hasn't been any confirmation on just when this will happen, we should expect it soon. Fans of Blizzard's hit MMORPG World of Warcraft have also been wondering if the game's subscription will also be bundled alongside the Game Pass. This would mean that the game would basically become free to play for anyone that already has the Game Pass. Alongside this announcement, Xbox President Phil Spencer also confirmed that Call of Duty will continue to release games on the same day for all consoles, PlayStation included. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on Starfield going for a more philosophical approach with its story? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.